Alright, so today's video is going to be just a little bit different. Today we're going to be watching parts of a PragerU kids video about Christopher Columbus and why slavery was a good thing because slavery is better than being killed. That's what they say in this video. That's made for children. I'm not going to watch the whole thing because the whole thing's 13 minutes. I will link to the video down below if you would like to sit here and watch the entire thing. But basically, these two dumbass kids show up. They use a time machine that they have on like their laptop and travel back in time. And they show up on Christopher Columbus's ship because they have questions about his holiday because these kids care about how controversial Christopher Columbus is. Here it is.
Don't be alarmed, sir.
Don't worry about it. I'm wrapping up the wildest journey maybe that anyone's ever taken. Nothing phases me. What, you from the future?
How'd you guess?
Either that or Indians? I've kinda had a hard time telling who's what lately.
I'm Layla. He's my brother Leo, and we need to learn about you.
We live 500 years from now, and there's a holiday for you, but it's really controversial and we're confused.
Nice! I have a holiday? Well, caramba! I should! I've worked so hard to get to this point, and what I just accomplished was insane!
What Christopher Columbus just accomplished was insane. So then he goes into his whole entire backstory, where he grew up, how he was born, what his father and his mother did. Some of the information in that part is correct. Some of it is not correct, but it's basically just a history lesson of him leading up to his expedition. And then we skipped about 5 minutes there. And we're picking up pretty much right where he lands in America.
You know the land you found wasn't India, right?
Really? Caramba! I suspected something was a little off, but my calculations suggested I had reached India, or at least the Far East.
So what happened when you met the native people, who obviously discovered the land before you did? The Indians?
The first people we met were great.
It was like, what was that? What the fuck? What do you mean, the Indians? What?
East.
So what happened when you met the native people, who obviously discovered the land before you did? The Indians?
They're Native Americans. What is this? I don't understand. Why is this kid being such a cheeky little asshole? I don't get it. I mean, it seems like this kid already has his mind made up, so I don't know why he had to go back in time to ask Christopher Columbus. It seems like he already knows his stance on Christopher Columbus.
The first people we met were great. The Taino. They were peaceful, curious, and really helpful. I could tell right away that they were highly intelligent. They even were able to quickly mimic everything we said to them. I ordered my men to treat them well.
I'm sorry, Mr. Columbus, but I heard at school that you spoiled paradise and you brought slavery and murder to peaceful people.
Leo?
Sorry.
I mean, Leo was actually right on that one.
That's what I
right
read
there.
and heard at school.
Caramba! Those are some accusations. The place I discovered...
They're not accusations. That's what happened. Christopher Columbus's own journal or diary or whatever you want to call it, in his own fucking writings, he talked about doing these things to these indigenous people. That's what he himself admitted it. It's not accusations. They're not accusations. This is stuff that happened. It's history. You can't sit there and say it didn't happen. It fucking happened. It's not an accusation. An accusation is you saying something against someone and it hasn't been proven right. So you accuse someone of doing something. It's not an accusation. That's such a fucking lie.
It wasn't exactly a paradise of civilization, and the native people were far from peaceful.
But you just
Yeah, it wasn't a paradise because until you showed up, bro.
said
Exactly.
the Taino were peaceful.
They pretty much are. But there are other tribes who aren't. The Taino I had met had cuts and scars and bruises all over them. I asked why, and they told me about the Caribs, who are vicious, warring cannibals.
Cannibals? Like they...
Eat people, see,
Whoa.
right? Hey, all the things that are bad in the world I come from, jealousy, lying, murder, war, it all exists in the land I just found too. But in Europe we draw the line at things like eating people and human sacrifice. Some of the
Yes.
native folks from where I just left do those things regularly. So, these people in your time who think it was a peaceful paradise are misinformed. Or lying.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're lying again. We know from Christopher Columbus's own writings, that he did not think highly of these Native Americans. He didn't. He did not. He did not care about them. He talked openly about slaughtering them and enslaving them.
But what about slavery? You didn't deny that.
Deny? No. Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world, even amongst the people I just left.
No. No. That is the worst. I mean the worst argument you could make for anything, but especially slavery. His argument is, well, everyone else does it too, or did it too. That's not a defense. That doesn't make it okay. Well, it's been around. It was around before me, so, all I really did was just use my resources to enslave the people. It was okay because everyone else was doing it too. His defense is monkey see, monkey do. That's literally what he's saying. That's what PragerU is teaching kids. Slavery is okay because everyone does it. Everyone did slavery at one point, so it's all good. It's okay. It's okay if someone else does it, guys. So if someone else murders someone, it's okay. It's okay.
Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no?
Yeah. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed. No? Really? How many of the PragerU staff that worked on this video were enslaved? I want numbers right fucking now. How are you going to sit there and say that? Are you serious? Being killed is or being enslaved is better than being killed? How many of the PragerU people that fucking worked on this video were enslaved? I want fucking numbers right fucking now. How can you make that assertion? I guarantee you none of these people have ever experienced anything close. Dennis Prager has never experienced anything close to anything remotely close to slavery at all, ever in his life, and he never will. And none of the people that worked on this video ever will either. What the fuck? That's fucking insane. That's actually insane to teach to a child. Slavery's better than being killed, so it's all good. So Christopher Columbus's two choices were, kill these people that were there before him or enslave them. He really was such a great guy. He really does deserve his own holiday. Wow. PragerU's teaching me all of the great things I need to know about Christopher Columbus. Thanks, guys.
I don't see the problem.
Well,
I don't see the problem. Yeah, well, even Christopher Columbus's closest friends, you guys can go and look this up for yourself. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I guarantee you to go and research. Even Christopher Columbus's closest allies and friends thought he was a fucking barbaric, crazy, off-the-chain fuck. They thought he was insane. Even his closest allies thought that he was batshit nuts. Okay? This is just so inaccurate, and it's fucking crazy. This video is literally crazy. All of PragerU shit is crazy, but this is a next level.
in our time, we view slavery as being evil and terrible.
In our time, we view slavery as being evil and terrible. Like it wasn't evil and terrible back then. And I don't want to hear people say, Christopher Columbus was a victim of his time. No, bitch. Slavery was never okay. It's never going to be okay. It wasn't okay from whoever, no matter how far back you want to go in history. Slavery has never been okay, and it will never be okay. And you can't justify someone like Christopher Columbus enslaving people, coming overseas to land that's not his, capturing, enslaving, and murdering not all, I can't say all, but a astronomical amount of the people that, again, were here before him. You cannot, how is it justified? Explain. I don't understand. They haven't made a case for why this is okay. They haven't made a case for why we shouldn't be replacing Christopher Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Joe Biden is the only president to ever recognize Indigenous Peoples Day, and I think that that's great. I think that that's really, really great. It's just they have not said one thing about Christopher Columbus. And again, I know some people are going to say, well, what about the 5 minutes that you cut out? I didn't cut the 5 minutes out. I skipped it. You guys can go and watch that. It's literally just all of his other expeditions. And again, like his backstory. This is fucking wild that this is up on YouTube and it's allowed to be up here.
Magnifico, that's wonderful. I am glad humanity has reached such a time. But you said you're from 500 years in the future? How can you come here to the 15th century and judge me by your standards from the 21st century?
What do you mean your standards from the 21st century? You're just making Christopher Columbus sound like the biggest piece of shit ever. This video is making him sound like the biggest piece of shit to ever walk. You're coming from 500 years in the future and using your standard of slavery is bad when I live in the 15th century, when again slavery is still bad. I don't what? It didn't make any sense.
For those in the future to look back and do this is, well, estúpido.
Are you calling me dumb?
Certainly not.
Is it? Is it really? Or is PragerU just mad that people are starting to really educate themselves? We're starting to, at least in some parts of the country, and some people are trying, not in Florida, we're trying not to whitewash history as much as we like to do in this country. We're really trying to pull away from the whitewashing shit. And, PragerU, they don't like that. They don't like that, all of the whitewashing of American history is very, very, very slowly, little seeds being washed away. And we're learning what, real accurate history about someone like Christopher Columbus, maybe. They don't like that. They literally cannot even accept the fact, and I'll show you guys the description, what the description says down here right now. This is the first sentence in the description, PragerU kids. Why is Columbus Day being replaced with Indigenous Peoples Day? Do your kids know the truth about Christopher Columbus? Number one, this isn't even the truth. And number two, you guys are, even though you're lying, literally making him sound like the worst person ever.
I can tell you're a very smart young lady, but the idea of throwing away the past because of your present values is... Listen, I
don't even know. I really cannot even comment on what I just heard animated Christopher Columbus and PragerU Kids video just say. I literally cannot take any more of this video. Please let me know what you guys thought of the Leo and Layla meet Christopher Columbus PragerU video. Again, I'll link it down below. Also, this was actually surprising to me. I do want to show this really quick. This video actually has a lot of dislikes compared to likes. It's a very, very bad like to dislike ratio. So clearly the majority of the people that are clicking on this video are smart enough to know that PragerU is indeed full of shit. But that's going to be it for the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, press that little bell, turn on all notifications so you guys never miss an upload.